Hey everyone, Fáilte Arash. Welcome back to day 26 of 365 Days of Irish Tenor Banjo Tunes. For those of you who are just joining us, this is my New Year's resolution: pick up the banjo once a day and try and learn a new tune. I'm just a beginner. This is more for my own motivation and accountability to remember to play the banjo every day and hopefully get better than it is for any sort of tutorial. That being said, today we are going to be doing a hornpipe. So number 303 in the big book of 365 Irish tunes. It's called The Boys of Blue Hill. It's a hornpipe in D. So this is the first hornpipe I have played in this series, or even at all. So I was curious what makes it a hornpipe versus a reel, because when you look at them both, they're both in 4/4. They both have similar sorts of notes. I mean, you could say that perhaps the hornpipes seem to have a little more variation. They seem to use a little bit of arpeggios, maybe a little bit more, but otherwise they look very similar. So I looked it up, did a bit of research. So this is my beginner opinion of what the difference is between a hornpipe and a reel. So a reel, although it's written in 4/4, tends to have more of a sort of cut time feel to it. The eighth notes are more like eighth notes, just straight up eighth notes. It's a little bit quicker in general as well. There is a little bit of up and down to it. The hornpipe is also written in 4/4, but it tends to be played a little bit slower. And it tends to have more of a bouncy feel to it. So I listened to a number of them to try and get a bit of an idea for how that feel goes. And for anybody who's accomplished, maybe you can watch this video and tell me what you think, if I'm playing to the style of a hornpipe or not. So that seems to be the big difference, is in how you interpret it and how it's played. Now, ultimately, these tunes, jigs, reels, hornpipes, barn dances, all the different types of Irish tunes are dance tunes, right? This is where they come from. So they're dance tunes. So this sort of style, the way it's played, would go along with the dance. So a reel is obviously going to be a little more of a faster sort of thing, and a hornpipe is going to have a little bit of a slower vibe and a little more of a jaunty step. I haven't ever danced a hornpipe, though. We do actually, as the Valley Youth Fiddlers, hold a monthly family dance, or we have been this year. We used to hold them on a regular basis in the past, and we're back to that this year. But generally, we just tend to do jigs and reels. Quite often, it's more from the Quebecois tradition than it is from the Irish tradition. But still, I have danced jigs and reels. Often I just play in the band as backup on guitar. I don't ever bring my banjo. Maybe I should work up to that. But anyways, I think I've rambled enough. Normally I play this first time through very slow, then I go and do some practice and come back. Not 100% sure if I'm going to do it that way, or if I'm just going to play the first time kind of slow and then wrap back around and try and speed it up a little bit, and maybe play through it 3 or 4 times on the recording, so you can see that I struggle with these things too. I had a really nice comment from somebody who was also a beginner, and they said it was great just to see another beginner on YouTube, because there's hardly any beginner players. They're all advanced. And so he thought it was great to see somebody else who's a beginner, that he could go, oh, okay, I'm on the right path. This person's been playing for a year or two, and they're kind of struggling or similar to how I am. Anyways, Boys of Blue Hill.
A few moments later.